I've had a unique opportunity to learn from a dozen plus billionaires over the last 4 years. And in working with these people, interacting with them and learning from them, I've discovered a few important life lessons that have had a dramatic impact on my level of success and my overall happiness and quality of life. And I want to share some of these with you. Full disclosure, I have absolutely nothing to sell. I just want to pass along some of the wisdom that I've been lucky enough to learn, hopefully to help you accelerate your progress and have more success. So the first lesson comes from Jack Dorsey. Jack is the founder of Twitter and Square. When I had met him in 2021 at his house, I think he was running $110 billion worth of market cap in his two companies. So I was very focused on learning everything I could from him. This one day we were playing a game of Jenga. There were 6 of us around a table. This was a 4-hour Jenga game. The first 20 minutes, we played regular standard Jenga, where I try to take a block to try to screw the next person over, make the whole thing fall down, I win, they lose, typical capitalist Jenga. About 20 minutes into the Jenga session, Jack stops everybody and he says, wait, why are we competing against each other? Why don't we compete against the game? How many blocks would we have to stack to beat the game, to have a perfect game? And so we thought about that. We said, okay, about 60 blocks high. And now our whole strategy switched. Now it was my job to pull the block that would set the next person up for success instead of failure. I was even thinking 6 moves in advance on how I could take the potentially harder block that would give me the highest probability of losing in order to set the next people up for success. And this light bulb went off in my head. I said, this is how Jack built his empires. It's all about collaborating, not competing. We're not competing against each other. This is not a competitive zero-sum game. There's a problem, there's a game we're playing, and we're gonna unite everybody around that problem to accomplish it together. And that was the big mindset shift for me. I'm like, why am I spending so much time competing with other people? I need to find a big problem that I really care about and unite people around that problem and make everyone collaborate. And that is how empires are built. It's not about this scarce competition, it's about collaboration. So don't compete, collaborate. Lesson number 2 comes from Keith Raboi. Keith is a legendary entrepreneur investor. He's one of the PayPal mafia with Peter Thiel and Elon Musk. He invested in $28 billion plus companies like Airbnb from the earliest stages. He's a really prolific investor and entrepreneur. And what I noticed about Keith is his life is full of stress. And he even told me in our podcast together that the most fulfilled he's ever been are at the most stressful points of his life. And this really made me think. And so what he told me is, if you want to be healthier, happier, and wealthier, you actually want more stress. That is the key to a happy life. The more stressful your life is, the happier your life is with the correct mental models. It's about the mental frameworks you have around how you perceive the stress. When you're doing things that are difficult and stressful and you perceive that they're bettering you, it's actually good for you, it's healthy. When you perceive that they're hurting you, burning you out, and harming you, it's actually bad for your body. And there's this incredible study in The Upside of Stress, which is a book that he recommends. It looks at a crew of housekeepers, and these housekeepers all perceive themselves to be very unfit and unhealthy because they have all this time to clean, but they don't have time to exercise. And so they took half of these people and they told them some new information. They said, you're actually burning 300 calories per hour when you're cleaning. You didn't know that before, but now you do. So you should start to expect to see some really big health benefits from all this exercise you're doing. Well, 30 days later, the crew that was not told that information was the exact same. But the crew that had been given this new information around how to perceive their stress, their exercise, they lost a lot of weight, they had better hip to waist ratios, their blood pressure went down, and they reported much higher levels of satisfaction with their work because now they were seeing that their work was making them healthier. Just by changing the framing of how they perceived the stress, it had tremendous physical reactions in their bodies and changed their quality of life just with a little bit of information. And so stress in itself is neutral. How you perceive the stress, whether you think it's making you better or whether you think it's hurting you, is going to determine how it actually shows up in your life. One of the most powerful ways I've learned to take control of this concept in my life is through controlling my language. And there's one reframe I'm going to share with you here that can tremendously help you in learning to take on more stress and actually love it. And that is shifting from saying that you have problems to saying that you have puzzles. When I say I have problems are things that I want to avoid. They're scary, they're overwhelming, and that actually activates cortisol in your blood. When I have puzzles, I have something to look forward to solving. I'm actually excited. There's not that same fear, and that actually activates dopamine, which allows you to have more focus. And so just by changing your language and your mental frame around that same stress has a completely different reaction in your body, which ends up propelling you to take different actions and achieve completely different results. So stress in and of itself is not bad. If you want to be healthier, wealthier, and happier, seek out more stress and make sure you have the right mental models to perceive it in a way that it actually benefits and helps you. The third lesson comes from my friend Zeb Evans. He's the co-founder and CEO of ClickUp, which is a productivity software tool that he took from nothing to $4 billion in 5 years. And I was lucky enough to meet him very early in that journey and actually help him build the company. So I got to see him evolve through the different stages in the business. And some of the lessons we learn in life are caught, not taught. Those are the best ones. It's not from direct things that he told me, but it was from observing him and seeing how he moved. And this really was a big game changer for me, because when Zeb started ClickUp, he did not know how to build a SaaS product. He did not know how to raise 500 million plus in venture capital. He did not know even how to build paywalls into his product, so he didn't even know how to monetize the product. There were so many things Zeb did not know that I saw him learn in real time as I was working with him. And then it really dawned on me. This guy is now a billionaire, and I see him thrown into challenges every week, every month that he's never dealt with before. He's just figuring it out, and that was it. No one knows what they're doing. Everyone is just figuring it out. And the people that really are mega successful, they do not let a lack of information stop them from getting started. They don't believe they know everything now, but they believe in themselves that they can figure it out. And as ClickUp scaled, Zeb grew to more than 1,000 employees and had to learn how to actually be a leader, which he had no real experience in before too. I saw this guy go from a scrappy founder to a legit enterprise CEO. And what I realized was each one of those growth periods required him to become a new version of himself. And each time he didn't know how to get there. He did not have this experience. So don't let a lack of information prevent you from getting started. Don't believe that you had to have some sort of qualifications or experience in the past to do something in the future. You have to figure out what you want, why you want it, and the how reveals itself over time. And that's the secret of all the mega successful people. They're not letting a lack of information stop them. They decide, this is what I want, and I will figure out how to evolve and learn what I need to learn in order to make this thing real. It's so simple, yet it's so profound, because so many of us are bottlenecked in our lives and not pursuing the things we want, not pursuing our highest visions, because we feel like we're unqualified. We feel like we need something now that we don't have. But really, when you commit, you burn the boats and you decide, I'm going to figure shit out at all costs, and you believe in your ability to figure shit out, then everything comes from there. It's like the bird who sits on the thin branch. It doesn't sit on the branch because it trusts the branch. It trusts its ability to fly once the branch breaks. It's the same concept. So every mega successful person I've seen has taken on big goals that they're technically at the time unqualified to achieve, but they allow themselves to be defined by a future vision instead of their past. And what I've realized is life is like a spiral staircase. You have to take the first 5 steps, and then you can peek around the corner and see the next 5 steps. You take those 5 steps, you can see you're on the next corner, but you can't see the top of the staircase from the bottom. And so you have to just get in the habit of taking action, figure shit out, then you can see the next couple moves. And that's just how the process works. So you have to get really good at being comfortable in the unknown and trusting your ability to figure shit out. But that was a really incredible lesson that Zeb gave me, is like, stop believing you need any qualifications and stop believing that you should have anything figured out. The moment you make the commitment and you burn the boats, the universe has a very strange way of rearranging itself to help you get there and reveal the information that you need to get to the next level. So those are the 3 lessons. Don't compete, collaborate. Stop playing zero-sum games trying to be better than the next person. Pick a big problem that you're excited to solve and unite people around solving it together, and you can build an empire. Seek out more stress. The happier, healthier, wealthier you want to be, you need more stress in your life. So stop running away from your stressors and shrinking back into your comfort zones and step into it. Seek out stress. Make sure you have the right mental models so that it's actually bettering you instead of hurting you. And lastly, stop thinking that you need to have anything figured out. Just go start and figure it out along the way. That's the path to all greatness. The people that accomplish the most in this world, they don't need certainty, they don't need a blueprint. They make a decision about what they want and they figure it out along the way. It sounds trite, but it's so simple and powerful. But if you can do those three things, you can live an extraordinary life and accomplish virtually anything that you want.